Hey everyone, Glenn Sanford here, and I'm super excited to talk with Huy Nguyen. He's a five-time ICON agent out of Houston, Texas. He runs a small team. He's been also big on also agent attraction. He's grown a nice size revenue share group, but really he's just an all-around great guy. And Huy, thanks for jumping on the podcast.
Glenn, thank you so much for your time, and you have no idea how excited I am, to be able to have this conversation with you. I see you in Cabo, I see you a number of times, but really get excited to have one-on-one conversation with you like this.
Oh yeah, no, this is awesome. And you've been in real estate almost the same time that EXP's been around. So when you started real estate at the bottom of the housing market?
I wouldn't say it's the bottom. I would say I got lucky on that part, Glenn. Right just after I graduated college, houses is still like really cheap. I remember my first house, I was able to buy it with a $35,000 per year salary, and my house, is still. I remember I got it for $75,000. $75,000 for a three-bedroom, two-bedroom house in Houston, Texas, and that is my first home. And fast forward now, here we are with EXV.
You started in real estate, I think, what about 15 years ago?
Yeah, so I started real estate. I got really kind of lucky right after I graduated college, Glenn. The housing market is still at the bottom, like you say, but I see an opportunity, right? I just got out of college. I got lucky. I got a job and it paid me 30. I remember it's $35,000 per year salary, and I kind of use a salary to buy my first home, if you will. And I still remember it's $80,000 for that house, right? I still keep it now. It's still one of my rental, but that house kind of kickstarted my real estate journey, right? It gets me really excited about real estate, about real estate investment, which is where what I am originally is. I'm an investor, and then fast forward, you keep buying one rental house after another, you know, keep working hard at your job, save some money, buy another rental house. And then long story short, I landed at EXP Realty in about, I think at the end of 2017 is where I actually found.
Now your website, I think cashflownotepad.com, the cashflowshop.com, your Instagram cashflow agent. So you're really so do you focus primarily on investors? Is that your niche?
Yep, that is absolutely my niche. So this is what I tell everybody, especially the team in my group. I believe that real estate is just about math, right? If you get the mathematics correct, if you buy the home correctly, if you understand how much you're gonna get as far as the cash on cash return, as far as the return on investment, the appreciation, the depreciation, if you just buy real estate based on math and kind of put your emotion away for a little bit, that piece of real estate will take care of itself and it will take care of you and your family. And when you buy it right with the underlying mathematics correctly.
So what when you think about educating clients, finding clients, building up your database, are you using social media? Are you using meetups? Are you using just repeat referral? How do you prospect?
So I have different way to find client, and if you look at the note, first and foremost, Glenn, I strongly believe that you are your best client. I think it was I forgot the name, but I think it was somebody a trainer that say it. It's gonna come back to my it's gonna come back to me later, but I believe that you are your best client. So actually, half of my production is actually my personal production. This is the house that I buy for rental myself. This is the house that I buy to flip. And then if you do something so good, all of a sudden people is gonna start notice you, right? So your friend is gonna start asking you like, "Hey, Huy, can you?" You are so good at finding deal for investment property. Can you help me find a couple rental house? And then that friend tell a friend, and then your coworkers start to notice about it. So back then I worked for Hewlett Packard, I worked for Slumber J. All of a sudden people around you, they notice you are moving and doing things, and then they asking for you to help. So those become my client base, right? So number one, I get my real estate license to serve me myself for my investment property. And then you serve your friend, you serve your family, you serve your colleague, basically all the people around you, right? So I have a really big sphere of influence. And then later on with technology, you kind of translate that on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. And now one of my favorite tools to generate lead, like right now is actually Google. If you keep I believe that if you have a good Google presence right now, Glenn, if you go to Google and you type in, Houston real estate investment property specialist, are gonna be the top five that's gonna pop up. And that is how I generate. Yep, by just serving people, number one, serving people around you, and then number two, getting your name out using social media and especially Google right now.
Okay. And are you paying for that? Are you doing PPC or is that organic traffic?
Surprisingly, it's actually just organic. So I treat Google like social media, so I would consistently post over there daily, feature property, the home I just closed. Especially, I host a lot of event, so I would post event over there too. So I'm very, very active on Google, and I treat Google, just like a social media platform, right? I update all my hour, just basically go there and do something in Google. Either me or my virtual assistant, we go there and we basically work Google. And especially you have to ask for review, right? Review is so important, right? I can tell it doesn't matter how much I can sell myself, but if after the show, if I can get a 5-star review from Glenn Stanford, man, my life will be set.
Five-star with me, that's for sure.
Thank you so much.
Um, so what type of lead flow do you get from that? And this is your Google for business page. Is that what's showing up then?
Yeah, so I believe that people attract to me because of my investment, because of the way I buy investment property, because the way I analyze the number. Yeah, so I on my Google page, it's just my name, Huy Nguyen, EXP Realty investment property specialist, right? So if you and I have a lot of keyword in there. For example, EXP Realty investment property in Houston. So if you look for those keyword, you're gonna land into my Google page, right? So you're gonna read the number one, you're gonna read my review. Number two, you're gonna see all my posts, and number three, you're gonna see all my video, right? So all of a sudden, this lead coming from the internet that looking for investment property in Houston, all of a sudden they're getting to know me through video. And then eventually you're gonna land it into my landing page, and then from the landing page there's gonna be a calendly link. So that way, if Glenn is looking for a Houston investment property in Houston, and he kind of like this guy named Huy, he can click on the link and then schedule a 10-minute phone call or Zoom meeting with me.
Okay. Oh, awesome. And how many leads a month do you get from that?
Organically, I would say 1 to 2, and I mean these are really, really good lead.
So they close 50% of the time, 25% of the time.
I don't want to jinx it, but I would say so far, I've been closing more than 50%. So maybe 75%, maybe three people, two and a half people would close with me, because when you already consume, my content, they already, like me, trust me, before they even book an appointment with me, right? So, although I don't have a lot of lead flow, all the people that contact me, I tend to become friend with them really quickly.
Okay. And then, so that's a big one. Where else do you, it sounds like that's the highest, is that your highest converting funnel, your Google business page?
I would say so, yeah. And then my other lead source, to be honest, I don't have a big set of client, right? I don't have 100 people that I serve, Glenn, but I just have a few people. But these people are like me, right? So, for example, I flip home, so I would flip about 2-3 home a month. That is my average right now. And then I just happen to know a couple other investor that also flip about 2-3 home per month, and then they use me as a listing agent. So all of a sudden, you have a very few subset of client, a very few people that you work with, but these are high caliber people. They constantly doing deal, they constantly buying, they constantly selling. And for me, it just, keep my business super, super simple, right? So I was able to achieve icon back to back. And then all the time that I have left, I was able to use it on agent attraction.
Oh, awesome. Now, how much time, obviously, if you're flipping personally 2 to 3 homes a month, um, I'm assuming that you've got some methodology for finding properties for yourself, and obviously some of them you jump on, some of them your investors jump on. What is that? What's your methodology for finding prospective properties?
Yeah, so I have what we call a buy box, right? So Glenn Sanford buy box, what property that you're looking for is gonna different from my buy box, and it's gonna be different from other people buy box. And just give you an example, right? So my personal buy box would be, like, hey, my name is Huy, I'm an investor. I only buy houses, within 40 minutes from where I'm at, right? So my zip code is 77065. If I have to travel too far, I'm not gonna buy it. So anything within 40 minutes, 3 or 4 bedroom, two bath, with a slab, under $200,000 in Houston, you can still find those deals. And then they have to be, the year bill is gonna be above 1980 because I don't want to deal with, like really really older house. And surprisingly, if you see on the MLS, there's going to be a lot of houses, distressed house on the MLS in Houston right now that is selling for, 180, 170, that you can fix it up, let's say for 40, $30,000, and then you can sell it in the low 300, right? So I still have a gap there that I can make the spread. And because I'm in the business for a very long time, when I come in with an offer, Glenn, I don't put option period, right? So let's say I'm gonna say, hey, Glenn, Glenn is a listing agent. I'm gonna say, hey, Glenn, I really like your house. I go see it already. Here's the offer. This is not a blind offer, but I'm gonna put in $10,000 earnest money with no option fee because I know exactly what I'm gonna do already. So, Mr. Seller, all those that my offer is going to be a little lower than everybody that you receive, but this is a solid offer, right? So I would give very high on this money with no option period, and we get deal a lot from the MOS or the wholesaler. Here's my friend, we love our wholesaler, so we would work with the wholesaler to get the deal from them as well.
Okay, so you're your own local open door.
There you go, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, there you go. So now have you engaged with the Express Offers group to get your buy box put into Express Offers?
Oh, I would love to. That would be a great idea. I never thought about that. Yeah, I would always think about it from the Asian side, but yeah, but I never think about, the qualification to be on the express offer platform. That would be amazing. Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah, there's two ways to think about Express Offers. One is if you're a if you by the way you could plug in potential investors that have a buy box that buy you know 10, 15, 20, 25 homes a year on the back end, and so they would get a first look at properties that are going in because it's kind of a it's really an iBuyer platform. The difference is that Express Offers is backed by hundreds of buyers, and so if anybody that you put on the platform buys a property, you actually get paid every time they buy a property, even if you didn't bring them the property. So just the fact that they're a buyer on the back end, and then the second part is obviously when a property sells through that. There's also some there anyway. There's different opportunities there, and so I would definitely check out Express Offers and plugging in your buy box and seeing if some things can come through there as well.
I see. Wow. All right. Express offer 101 for me. Thank you, Glenn. Let me look into it.
Yeah, no, no. Well, it'd be great to get your feedback too, because one of the things I've thought about is this idea of driving traffic to Express Offers, and then you would actually get benefited from anybody who submits their properties through Express Offers as well. So it's so there are people who just say, "Hey, I just want an offer," and they're not as concerned about maximizing their dollars. They're more interested in speed. They got to sell for some reason. They got to do it quickly, and so Express Offers gives them sort of a potential. And then we also partner with I think we've partnered with Open Door and some others on the back end as well. So
I see. I see. Wow. All right. Thing to do. Thank you.
so yeah. So now how are you mentioned your online presence? You've got your core clientele, some that buy multiple properties. How big is your database of clients that you work with?
I would say, it's just how around 100 people, to be honest with you. I don't have a big database.
Okay. Now, do with that is how do you have them in a CRM? Do you manage them in your phone? What's your vehicle for just keeping track of your clients?
Yeah. So let me back it up a little bit. Like 100 people, I told you, these are actually 100 people that I kind of know them a lot because they work with me. I know them, from my past life. So these are 100 people I really, really know. But as far as, people that just hit my website, people that came across me, KV Core, right? I just use KV Core to capture the lead and then just put them into KV Core. And these are going to be my cold lead, right? So I kind of have like two different database. So basically KV Core, I gonna use it to treat all my core lead, the people that I haven't met yet. But after I met you already, Glenn, I moved them into a system. It's called HomeBot. Have you ever heard of HomeBot?
Homebot, yeah, that's. I think I have. There's a gentleman named Ernie that sort of runs that company, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I really like HomeBot because I actually use it for myself. So I would input Glenn in as my client, and then and then Glenn is gonna tell me how many property that Glenn have, and then the system it automatically keep you updated with the house value. Like, hey, Glenn, this is your house at ABC Main Street. This is the value as of March, right? And this is how much equity that you have. This is how much loan that you have, and then if you refinance out, this is how much cash you're gonna get. So basically, when I put my investor hat on, I think one of the job description of an investor, you have to keep track of your equity and you have to keep track of your debt, right? That equity and debt ratio, you always need to keep track of it as from an investor standpoint. And HomeBot allow me to do it. It allow all my clients to do it, right? So I use HomeBot for everybody that I have a transaction with.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. And then go ahead. No, I was saying, like translate to agent attraction. I use another system, for agent, right? Because these are actually three separate, database, three separate, business. So I don't want to, commingle them. So I use CAM Grow for agent attraction as well.
Okay, awesome. So obviously, there's a lot of icons that I interview. You're active in both the agent attraction side as well as the production side. Which part of the business are you excites you the most? Is it growing your production and growing your personal um, uh, you know net worth through property acquisition, or I guess maybe where does attraction fit in your business plan?
Yeah, so Glenn, so this come back to my story in the beginning when I'm looking for something, and I didn't know that thing is called EXP Realty. I didn't want to quit my IT job. Back then I worked for Slumber J. I didn't want to quit a job and then you're gonna come in and you're gonna have like what a sales job, right? So I keep looking for something that is gonna be at least give me some kind of equity and it's gonna give me some form of passive income or residual income, right, in the company. And all of a sudden I found EXP Realty. I was so happy, right? So Glenn, to answer your question, what excited me that if I am able to create wealth and then I'm happy, right? I need to be able to create wealth for me, my family, all the people around me. I either do that, to real estate traditionally, just flipping property, and then use the money that you get, to buy, either long term rental, mid term rental, short term rental, commercial, basically hold as much as real estate as you can. But now over here, all of a sudden, Glenn, you give us a glimpse of agent attraction, right? So not only that I can buy property for my client, or do real estate the traditional way with EXP Realty, I can actually build equity with you with this company, right? So all of a sudden, I have this equity in this publicly traded company. I got so excited, and then I get to share that, with my community, right? The people that basically my brother and sister, they do deal with me. I really like them, and together we have revenue share, which is the form of passive income, right? And then all of a sudden we have equity. So all of a sudden, like all the picture, everything that I kind of fall into places, right? You build wealth here with real estate, and then you build wealth here with EXP Realty. And I was like, Amanda, where do I sign up?
So for you, it was a no-brainer.
For me, it's a no-brainer. To be honest, I'm a little skeptical in the beginning because I'm so new to all this and I'm so scared. Glenn, quitting your job is so scary. I was so scared when I give that 3 week notice. Give up basically my salary, my income, my college degree. But I don't know. It's just that I see Amanda Weisbeer, which is my sponsor, and then I obviously stalk you to see like who you are back then, 7 years ago, and I gotta see brand. I see all the people, that is with this company, right? And I was like, hey, these are good guy, right? I want to be around them. So let me just jump and see what happened. To be honest, Glenn, it was super scary, but I think it turned out to be fine.
Yeah, well, it's everything that is worthwhile tends to be on the other side of some amount of fear.
Yeah. I was so stressed out, it's just weird not to have a job to back you up anymore. But I guess I just have to jump and make the leap of faith.
Well, I was raised a little bit different than most people. My dad told me that it was riskier to take a job than to be an entrepreneur.
There
Uh,
you go.
be- yeah. So when you take a job, that's the most you'll make, and when you're an entrepreneur, the world's your oyster. So
There you go. You gotta have at least 7 stream of income, and I didn't feel like having just a job, is gonna. It just I don't know. It's just my mind's like, hey, let's just take the jump and see what happened. It was so scary.
there you go. Hey, last question before we wrap. If there was one piece of advice you could give to EXP agents, what would it be?
um, I would say dream big. I know a lot of people say this already, but it's kind of my mistake as well, Glenn. I just since the beginning, I just want to lay low. I don't want anybody, people to know about me. I just want to buy a house, have a job, have a car, and then that's it, right? But if you do that, you number one, you couldn't serve anybody, and number two, there's no way for you to make an impact in the world, right? And in your community with being small. So I would, strongly encourage you for the best you can. Dream big in the beginning, right? Because when you dream big, you have bigger plan, you can impact bigger community. You can just you're not being you can't serve anybody being small. That's what I'm trying to say. And especially with experience, we have a gift of the equity, we have a gift of revenue share. You just have to go all out and share this gift. That Glenn, thank you for giving us the gift, right? We just have to go all out and share the gift, right? If you hold it to yourself, and then, well, you're selfish.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and people are more likely to follow people with big dreams than small dreams. So it's much more attractive. Hey, we thank you for jumping on today. Also, thanks everyone for listening. You might have heard some of the places you can find we Instagram Cashflow Agent, online cashflownotepad.com or the cashflowshop.com. And but again, we thanks for jumping on and thanks for being part of the podcast.
Man, Glenn, thank you so much. And I see you at EXPCon. I'm not sure if I can go to EXP International, but we see. That's a fun.
Hey, there's one in Toronto in May. Anyway, okay, sounds good. Thanks, we. Okay.
All right, bye guys. Thank you, Glenn.